Welcome to the Accounting Technology Lab, sponsored by CPA Practice Advisor, with your hosts, Randy Johnston and Brian Tankersley.
Welcome to the Accounting Technology Lab. This is Randy Johnston with my co-host Brian Tankersley. And we are so pleased to have as a guest from Thomson Reuters, Elisabeth Beastrom, the president. She is going to give us a little bit of background on where Thomson Reuters is at. But I think the reason that I was so pleased to have Elisabeth as a guest was, unfortunately, I was not able to attend Thomson Reuters Synergy Conference this year, and I sent Brian in my stead, and he got to spend some time with Elisabeth, and he calls me from the bloody airport, and he says, you won't believe what I just did. And I got to listen to him at the Atlanta airport for what, 40 minutes, Brian? I think it was 35. It was a
a pretty
while.
epic rant.
Yeah, you were just like on a roll, which you sometimes do. So, Brian, I'm going to let you kind of set that up, and then we'll give the time over to Elisabeth. So, what would you like our listeners to know about what you already know about Elisabeth from your first conversation?
Well, Elizabeth is actually an accountant by trade, and so she's an inactive CPA, but she is a CPA, and as I recall, she's a Deloitte person, if I remember right.
Great memory.
Yeah, and so she actually has a daughter that is working on joining the profession too, potentially. So she's helping us all with the talent crisis, which is awesome. But what I found interesting is how Thompson's approach has changed to from a build internally to a build and partner strategy. So, kind of could you talk to us a little bit about that strategy and kind of how you came to it, and what do you think the profession is going to look like in 10 years? What kinds of alliances could you imagine having?
Yeah, I think that the shift to the open ecosystem, happened really. I've been in the role now just over 3 years, and that was one of the first things we did, where we built and we have had a history of building really good products. Our CS suite, which was one of the first integrated products accounting suites. We have really good tax software with our UltraTax, Go System Tax, One Source. And we were hearing directly from our customers. So one of our values is customer obsession. In my first, 90 days, I spent a lot of time out with customers, and since it was post busy season, got a lot of direct feedback. And in that, it was, what did they like? What was making their jobs easier? And, a few products came top of mind. SurePrep, SafeSend, and it was ease of use and efficiency. It was helping them do their jobs better and helping them solve for manual, non-value added tasks that you can't find people to do anyway with the talent shortage. So, it seemed like a no-brainer that we would start a journey and a partnership with these companies. So in 2022, we announced at Synergy a partnership with both SurePrep and SafeSend. And we actually started reselling SurePrep during that time as well. And, our customers loved it. And what we did is we worked on and strengthened the integrations with our software then at that time. So stronger open APIs, stronger connections, and it became a no-brainer for the acquisitions of both of them. So, it started with, again, hearing from our customers directly that these were products they liked. And I'm a big believer, if it's not broke, why try and fix it? And for us to build these and to get the cult following that both of these products had, it wouldn't have been a good use of our time or money, and we wouldn't have won. So we're going to continue this approach with an open ecosystem, partnering as well as inorganic options. And it's going to be based on where our customers see the value and what they want integrated.
Yeah, so Elisabeth, I was smiling while you were giving the background because I was going back to Creative Solutions, pre-acquisition by Thomson Reuters, not to mention the 100 plus tax products and others that existed that have been acquired over time. And so this idea that you can kind of watch for innovative solutions and say, that's a good partner. We might just want to acquire those particular technologies as a strategy, I think it's a radical breakthrough. Now, I don't want to overstate it for our podcast, but I can tell you, having been in meetings in the old days in Dexter and later days in Ann Arbor, and listening to some of the conversations, it's like, wow. And the shift here, it's not 180 degrees, but it's a big shift because the company of Thomson Reuters has always been focused on the accounting profession and doing a great job for, products and service and integration and all those types of things for a long, long time. But this idea that this group over here has a really nifty product, I wonder if we could bring that into the fold. Now, it seems to me you've got a few other, I'll just call it management attributes that I like. I know you tend to be kind of people centric, but I don't want to speak for you. I want you to speak for yourself. So, Randy's thinking about changing jobs. Why would I come to work for you at Thomson Reuters in the management team, or I don't know, as a frontline customer support person?
I think we're solving interesting problems, and we're doing it. I'm going to introduce another one we just relaunched our values at Thomson Reuters, and another one of our values is stronger together. And it was coined from, we used to say within our own TAP, or Tax and Accounting Professionals group, #better together. So we're working collectively together, aligned on the same priorities, focused on our customer at the center of it. There's a lot of respect for each other, and we're having a lot of fun doing it, but we're solving really interesting customer problems.
And that's an interesting take, because solving interesting problems has been kind of our lives for a long time, Brian and I. And I know if we go into a meeting, the two of us are better than either one of us alone, for sure. And, I don't like the phrase, the room is smarter than any one of us. That's not one because I think each individual can contribute. And I am just stunned when I sit in a meeting and watch, because what I usually say, Elisabeth, is I get to attend a lot of meetings and I get to be around a whole lot of smart people. And if I can contribute one little idea in that meeting, that's been a pretty good meeting for me. So this stronger together idea and the bantering back and forth seems like a good value to promote.
Yeah, and we've had some opportunities for, as a team, for forming, storming, and norming, and we've come out, really, I would say, on the better side of that. And I want to share an experience where, this customer centricity and, focusing on the customer obsession, open ecosystem really came to be. And it was right after I joined in this new role. I've been at Thomson Reuters 20 years. Most of my career was in the legal business unit, but I'm not an attorney. As Randy said, I'm an inactive CPA, and I started around the same time as him, when it was 6 big firms versus 8, which are now 4. So that can give you an idea of when I was starting in the industry. But this is a homecoming to me, coming back to the tax and accounting professionals business. It's personal to me. And the work that needs to get done is the same work, but how we're doing it, from 1991, 1992 has significantly changed. And bringing in the right tools and solutions to help our customers is so important. So I'll go back to how this all started. Post busy season, we had a meeting in Ann Arbor, Michigan, not in Dexter, where you're used to visiting. You have to come visit us in Ann Arbor sometime in our new office. But we had a customer postmortem, and it was a meeting where we called our customers. Senior leadership was in the room with me, and we basically said, tell us how we did this last busy season. And I will tell you, the customers did not hold back. They were very forthright and candid with their feedback. And it was a call to action to us as a result of it, we had significant investments in our products, including UltraTax, including Go System Tax, including OneSource. And this is where the idea of the open ecosystem as well, because they talked about SurePrep, they talked about SafeSend. So this is, customer obsession, putting them at the center of what we do. We heard directly from them, and they basically said, we need you to do better. We need you to be the gold standard. And then we took that as a team, and the forming, storming, norming happened. And we came back, we said, you know what, we don't want to just set the gold standard or return to the gold standard. We want to set the new gold standard. So let's have that as our team motto. And it was pretty invigorating for us as a team to come together for this as a result of our customers' feedback. And how do we make it better for all of our customers and set that new gold standard?
Yeah, exceeding the old gold standard and setting a new, that's
Yeah.
very admirable as I would see it, Elizabeth. And as I'm reflecting on the way that you're discussing that, this, team saying we can build something better is so valuable. And as the profession becomes more advisory centric, you haven't heard me talk about it like this, but my view of advisory is it is client centric, and you do personal planning and then business planning, and then all other advisory services follow from there. And what you just described was an advisory service approach to software development, is the way I'd hear it. It was customer centric, and you were trying to listen and do what was in the best interest of the client. And as an outcome of that, it's in the best interest of the firm or the business in your case.
100%. Well stated. I will be using those words going forward, Randy.
Well, I appreciate that, but again, I always learn from smart people around me, and I guess what I'd like to do is give you maybe just a moment more. Are there other key things that you would want Thomson Reuters clients to know, or non-Thomson Reuters clients to know about you and your team's strategies for today and going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think for our existing clients, for future clients, it's all about feedback. It's all about understanding what they want. We have a fair amount of that happens with our existing clients at Synergy. We had a sold out event, so hopefully you'll be able to join us this November in Orlando. I would love to have both you and Brian there. But we're hearing from different groups now and gaining feedback. So just last week, I was in New York, and with what's going on in the industry as a whole right now, a lot of tech disruption, continued consolidation of firms, new forms of investment in the way of PE into firms, and that continued talent shortage that is going to continue, and it's not going away. And I'm doing my part, as Brian said, to try and get more CPAs in the profession one at a time. But we had a dinner last week with some PE firms, and taking them and their understanding, this group, what resonated with them, as you might imagine, was the ROI. And we have a playbook that we're rolling out that you can have an efficiency blueprint of what our products can do to help improve the ROI in a firm. And when you start saying the hours, and the recent Future of Professionals study, we believe that AI in general will help save 5 hours a week in the first year. It's going to increase to 14 hours saved weekly in 5 years. And you think about that, it's 250 hours a year saved for every team member. So when you start to think of that, and they 2080 used to be the number of hours in a year, and over a tenth is going to be solved for AI, it's going to help you go into that advisory space, right? So to shift from a pure compliance into that advisory model. So we were walking PE firms through that last week, and they were really understanding that the message, as well as what a well laid out technology blueprint for your firms can do to help improve the efficiency and the ultimate taxpayer or their clients' satisfaction.
Yeah. And, your PE comments there land with me. I've been tracking private equity and venture capital quite closely, really began with the pandemic, including now I have a page called Money Behind the Technology. So every time I see a transaction, I actually am logging the doggone thing, and I'm trying to understand who the players are.
You're doing it daily then. You're doing it daily.
Pretty much daily. Yeah, that's exactly what it takes to get that all done. So this arc on the profession and the changes that are going on around us right now are pretty stunning as I see it. And I don't see it slowing down in any shape or fashion. So I will just make the side comment here. I can tell we'd have a lot of fun if we could just kind of sit around and chit chat for a while, because I'd learned so much from you about what is important to you and to the profession. And I think culturally, I can feel that there is a lot of similarity here because, in my heart of heart, I know it's true for Brian and it feels like it is for you. I know it is for, Andrew Hatfield and the new acquisition of SafeSend, really trying to sincerely serve the clients, in your case, the CPA firms, and their clients downstream. And, I've told people through the years, I will do whatever is legal and moral to help a firm do a better job.
Well stated. I'll share the best piece of advice that a customer gave me is they said, Elisabeth, don't think of us as your customer. Think of our customers as your customer. And when you put it and think of it in that place, it brings a lot of clarity to what you need to do and what you want to focus on to improve.
It does. Well, it is such a pleasure to just chat with you for a minute. Again, we'll make that happen at Synergy. I'd like to spend time with you. But then again, at Synergy, you want to focus on the other clients that are there. So you're right. A revisit to Ann Arbor is in our future. I can just feel that.
I
Although
look forward to you coming up.
maybe it's Minneapolis because I don't mind flying into to Snowsville.
I'll meet you guys in either place. How about that?
That sounds beautiful. Brian, any final questions, thoughts for our time with Elisabeth today?
No, I'm just very excited about how things are going for TR and how they move things. They've got a strategy of, again, of having open products and of this putting together the Super Friends thing. And I love their strategy of not charging for API calls, so you can experiment with things. And if you decide you like using API calls, you can. And if it works, that's great for you. If the workflow you design works, that's great. And if it doesn't, that's great too. And that's really exciting because the thing that I'm seeing is how automation is really coming to the accounting profession after us resisting it, kicking and screaming for the last 20 years. And I couldn't be more excited about where we're headed in that.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about the number because obviously, Elisabeth, you had probably research to back that up. If the AI productivity gain is 5 hours in year one and 14 hours the year after that, I can tell you, for me personally, measured is 40% gains, which is a stunning leverage, but I have the numbers to back that up. Wow, what we can do for accountants who use AI in smart ways. And I believe that Thomson Reuters will integrate AI so it's doing smart things inside the platforms. So we're not having to learn.
We already are. Come back, invite me back for another session soon. So we'll go
I can't wait to see what everybody at the Hogwarts of Hogwarts has come up with, the magic that you have to make life better for accountants in the near future.
Well, that is, I will absolutely take you up on that invitation. For our listeners, we appreciate you being with us here for another Accounting Technology Lab, and we look forward to having you back for another session in the very near future. Elisabeth, thanks for being here, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
Thank you for sharing your time with us. We'll be back next Saturday with a new episode of the Technology Lab from CPA Practice Advisor. Have a great week.